Hello, everybody. This is Chelsea Wingo, and I welcome you to Session 0, Part 1 of an upcoming campaign that I ran last year called The Secrets of Skyhorn Lighthouse, The Fiend. Ooh, spooky, scary. It is a mixture of a module with some homebrew in this particular game, and it centers around pirates, lost treasure, dark secrets, underwater creatures. Basically, it's got a whole Pirates of Caribbean kind of vibe, but there's no Jack Sparrow. Unfortunately, couldn't get Johnny Depp for this one. The full campaign, with both video and audio recordings of all the sessions, will officially debut the episodes around early June. But we wanted to share with you, lovely people, our session 0 that we recorded to provide a little context of the characters and their backstories and such before jumping right into the session 1. Unfortunately, it's audio only, but don't worry, we remembered to video the rest of the campaign all the way through. The cast features the amazing Sarah Henderson, Teacup, Webby, Ota Arcana, Travis Plotkowski, and special guest TJ. And then, of course, there's me, the DM, or the Calypso of Chaos for this particular realm, if you will. Now, enough about me ranting and chatting your ears off. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite ale or mead or whatever you fancy for a drink, and enjoy Session 0, Part 1 of The Secrets of Skyhorn Lighthouse. And we open, entering this mystical realm of where we are not traveling through the forests. We're not hunting for trolls or dragons up on the highest mountaintops, or searching for demons on the underground caverns, but we are surrounded by water on the 7 seas. As some of you are used to these kind of terrain, shall we say, while all of you are on the beginning of this adventure. But we don't start out on the open waters. Where we start is an opening to kind of the beginning of a morning scene, where, as you would see, the docks. There's some commotion here and there. It's still quite early on in the morning. And as some workers, some sailors, are working on their usual shifts, whether it's scrubbing the decks, whether it's taking in the next boats that come in to bring in the early trade. Just a regular day for some. Though we know, in these kinds of towns, there's always something happening all around. And we see this one ship start to kind of sail in, and is stopped. The ropes are starting to be thrown over. Other people that are on the dock are starting to tie it to, I believe, their mast pillars. You know what I'm referring to. They're tying them there. They're keeping the boat steady. The planks start to be put down as sailors among that travel are coming down, bringing in a whole bunch of treasure that they have found that they are hoping to make some good money while at this port. But secretly, another little plank is put on at the very far end of the ship, towards kind of the bottom area, where there is a little secret door that you wouldn't see with the naked eye. Gently opens. A sailor with, we'll say, like a red headscarf starts walking about, turns and looks, checks to see if the coast is clear. after a minute or so, he turns back to the door and starts beckoning whoever's in to come forward. And we see a figure appear from the shadows, start to step out, and in the morning sun, shining through their lace parasol of all sorts. Teacup, do you want to introduce your character for us?
Yes. So you see the lace parasol first, going through, and then as it lifts up, you see the delicate features of a young lady. You see the high cheekbones, the small chin, the small nose, just a beautiful porcelain face, then slowly moving upwards, the pewter bluish gray eyes, and then finally long chestnut brown hair that sits upon in ringlets over her shoulders and is covering her ears completely, so her ears are not visible. Her eyes are completely filled with wonder, just taking everything in, just looking around, observing, seeing if she can spot something familiar, but she doesn't know exactly what.
So you pop out and you're looking around in wonder, and then you're kind of jolted back to reality as the stairs say, "Miss, come on. If you don't want to be caught, you can't be standing there all day."
Right. And she'll step down.
Okay. Step down. The sailor kind of looks up at you and kind of points towards what you see is the kind of outline of the town up ahead, and he says, "Right, you don't want to go there. Pearlport is what this place is called. Lots of people, bits of tourists here and there. Should be able to find whatever refuge you're looking for. Though, do you want to keep the..." And he points at your lace parasol.
If I must. And she just undoes it and just fusses about with getting a cloak over her and just looks at him.
I don't mean to offend, Miss, but just, if you want to stay hidden, it's best not to have such fancy things about. No idea what you came from and what you're going through, but I imagine anything eleganza, I guess they call it. I don't know these terms that the nobles use these days. Anything that stands out will make those that are trying to find you. Yeah, and you see he's kind of blushing as he's kind of trying to not stare at you, and he's trying to be polite. But it's been a while since there's been a lady around, especially one that he's been trying to keep hidden, since that's what you're trying to be hidden so far.
Well, while I'm here, I might as well blend in.
Very smart to do so. And he holds out his palm, like, apologetically.
And she places her hand atop of it, expecting, like, to kiss it or something. And she just looks at him like,
The payment, though, I'm happy to get you over this little step here if you like.
Yes, that. And also, isn't it payment enough, knowing that you've had such lovely cargo on your ship?
Make a let's see, what would this be? Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay. 26.
It's like, yes, yeah. Oh, he like realizes he's like, yes, okay. Just do you mind just a little bit? I'm sorry, I've got family to feed, and just I'll take 10% of what originally was. And you remember that he originally asked for 50 gold in exchange for getting back, but he's only asking for 10 now instead of 50 gold.
And 10 I will give.
Okay. He gives up the other hand and grabs the gold, pockets it, realizes he's still holding it, and is like, and like guides you off of the plank that you're on, and then just lets you go. And it's like, right, better get going. Business will be picking up soon. Don't want to stay around here.
And she inclines her head and is just like, thank you. And just starts walking towards where they pointed.
Yep. So you're going to start heading towards the town. It's going to be a little bit of a walk because it's kind of this big port that just this big dock area that you have to walk a little by to get to kind of the stairs, which is on the far end of it. And you start walking, and with your cloak, you are kind of noticing more of the hustle and bustle, and you are seeing a bit of the different audience that you would normally be surrounded yourselves as. You've heard tale of, the adventuring type, and those that I guess like to get a little rowdy, but you've only heard this in stories that you've been told from your family. But you start walking about, and you know what? Make me a stealth check.
Okie dokie. A 19.
Oh, yeah, no, you're totally fine. You are walking through, you're able to kind of sneak by some of these kind of bigger brutes of sailors, and those that you see kind of have a little bit of like scars on their faces. Some of that they seem to have a little bit of like a gold coin tied around a necklace on their chest as they're bringing like these big like things of treasures and everything, and you are just easily able to sneak on by while everyone is very much absorbed in their work. And as you do so, we kind of pan the camera over to where we see not a ship approaching, but looks like a sailboat that's kind of going up into one of the docks, which is very weird. There's a bigger ship in the background, but there's a sailboat that seems to enter in. And there are these 3 figures that are standing around it. Well, one is rowing. It's kind of a scroggly version of a pirate man that is just a little scared as he is rowing things along. There is one figure that's standing up on front that's certainly dressed like a captain and just has this kind of big scowl on his face as he is observing the area that they are approaching. And sitting next to him on the other side of the boat is this other figure, but they're not human. They're scaly and definitely are much bigger than their other compatriots. Webby, you want to introduce yourself?
Well, Kodak is a tall, heavily muscled, bipedal saltwater crocodile. He stands a little over 7 feet tall with this royal blue and gray patches and a few large piercings in the lower reptilian lip. They wear a multitude of beaded necklaces and pendants, chains, and a sleeveless white tank top that's definitely seen worse for wear, and some salvaged green sailcloth trousers that have patches sewn into them. And he carries a footlocker under one arm, a small chest, and a large sword on the other hip. And he's just kind of sitting, looking out at the port, glaring, not talking.
I will say, you do kind of immediately know that while you're sitting there, your hands are shackled right now. And so you're just sitting there and your hands are kind of shackled as you're kind of glaring. Are you glaring towards the town, or are you glaring towards the back of your captain?
Who's to say?
Who's to say, indeed. But you're just kind of staring out there, and as you hear your captain, it's just like, So this is the supposed Pearl Port, where you're supposed to find everything you're looking for. Looks like a shite town. Better not be pissed off any liars about what's to be found here. And the sailor man that's with you is just keeping his mouth shut, keeping his eyes down. He knows not to speak out of turn.
Mm.
And then your captain turns and looks at you, Kodak. And he kind of leans in, snarling, saying, "You remember what you're here to do, right, Scaly?"
The big heaving, like, not a snarling breath, but just the lungs are so expansive that it, like, takes in the captain's hair a little bit. "I'd remember. But would you remind me? So I'm sure."
He rolls his eyes at you, which just like, fine. There seems to be some sort of talk about a priceless treasure. One that you get your hands on, you be immortal. But that is so what I've heard. And who knows if there are some lies snuck about here and there, but with this many wanting such a rare find, it would be best if we're in the hands of our ship. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course, Captain.
Besides, you get your hands on that, you might be released free a bit earlier from your contract. And it's at that point that you end up towards one of the docks, and the sailor boy is just going up there, scurrying about, kind of somewhat tying in, but the captain holds his hand up, and so the sailor's just kind of holding onto the rope to make sure you don't float off to sea. And he takes out his key, and he removes your shackles from your wrists. So then, allowing you to stand up and get out of the boat.
I stand up and I get out.
And I imagine with how tall you are and your weight, it's kind of like with the boat, just kind of shakes a little bit.
It's like walking on a log, just
Exactly. And I think right when you get one hand out, he kind of grabs your arm to make sure that you look at him one more time. Do remember to follow orders. Otherwise, your contract could end early by other means. As he snakes his fingers around your chainmail and the chains you wear around your body and tightens his grip on it, sort of pulling you in. Again, you are much taller than this captain, but his reputation and what you have been through, it kind of scares you a little bit down to the core.
Yes, Captain.
He releases your chains, allows you to get out, and then says one final thing before they start rowing away. You better be right in us making you choose you. Otherwise, Keith might have to deal with the consequences. And the sailor boy just starts rowing back.
What's around?
What's around? Oh, okay, I have a feeling of what you're gonna do. So around is there's a bunch of barrels. There's also some rope. There's this typical sailor kind of like tools and like planks of wood, like of just to put things out, like boarding up on ships. That's kind of what's going on.
Is there a mast pillar that isn't like occupied by a ship? That's about my height?
Yeah, I'd say there is one, yeah.
Great. I want to bite it and snap it in half.
Okay, make me an attack roll, please.
I'll do that. It's off the table. It's gone forever.
Yeah.
First one's gone. That's a 21.
Oh, yeah. So you go and you bite this thing and you're just like, but you do actually manage to snap it in half. And the top part of the mat just tumbles and kapunk, is now just floating up in the water. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 18.
You didn't notice when you were biting it, but now you turn and you see that there's a bunch of sailors that have just seen what you've done. And they're all just staring at you.
I look at the masthead in the water, and I look at them, and I just go, ooh.
And they all go immediately back to what they're doing. They just leave you alone. What do you do next?
Well, with my path cleared, I'm gonna make my way into the town.
Yes, you do. You do indeed. You start making your way towards the town, and then I'm going to say as you're walking by, you crunch. You step on something. There's something under your foot.
Oh, look.
All right. It's a piece of paper. It's crumpled up.
I'll pick it up. It's
Okay.
not my paper.
Okay. For sure. I'd say with your passive, you do see there's writing on it.
Can I read the language?
It is in common. You can, in fact, read the language, because common is one of your languages, right? Yeah, everybody reads common. Cool. So, do you start reading it?
I do read it, yeah.
Okay, you do read it. Okay, so you start reading it, and you're reading the first few lines. The Pirate King was not one to suffer fools or traitors. That much is true. But in his passing, his name has been dragged through the mud by those with spite in their hearts and a score to settle. Make me intelligence saving throw.
Ooh, okay. Oh, I'm good at those. I said, like a liar. Intelligence.
Natural 20! I love it. All right, you know what? I'm gonna message this to you privately, so you can choose to read it now or you can read it later on. But give me a moment while I figure out a way to send this to you. Hold on a second.
Yeah, take a picture of this.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So you're gonna get something. So pause for a moment, everybody, while I figure out how to do this. Wow, well done with that nat 20. First nat 20 of the game. Yay!
Yippee!
Woohoo! Okay, cool. Let's see. All right. Oh wait, no, hold on. Wrong person. Don't read that. Wrong person.
Good old crack dice.
Hey! Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. All right. Do you see it in your messages?
Yes, I do.
We're going to actually cut you away from there because you're going to be standing there reading this letter. You can read this on your own time, but you're standing there just reading this letter. You're actually engrossed and wanting to know more about it, but that is information for you. And you're actually so engrossed with all the reading that you don't hear at a nearby ship, actually the one that you're standing by with where you scared the sailors and are just kind of moving away. You see that a bunch of sailors are still working. Some of them are trying to get off the ship. But there is two that are on top of the ship that are having a bit of an argument. One definitely looks like a captain, and he's trying his best to be as fair and as calm as possible. But he's just shaking his head as he looks at this tiefling, a man that's just giving him trouble. Travis, do you want to introduce your character?
All right. Craith is a shadowy colored tiefling, big white horns. He's dressed fairly ratty, burns on his fingertips, the sort. And even though the captain of his ship is giving him the business, he looks more annoyed with the conversation than intently listening to what the captain has to say.
And as your dear captain is just, Craith, please, you have to understand, I'm coming from the sides of my crew. I need to keep my crew's priority and safety above all else. Sometimes that requires denying certain privileges.
Captain, we've discussed this over and over. In order to maintain the inherent safety of the crew, certain concessions must be made. I am not going to be held responsible for what happens if those conditions aren't met. You and I have an agreement, and the terms of the agreement were not met to my satisfaction. So I can't be held responsible for what happened. Now, is this conversation going to go on too terribly much longer? I've got important matters waiting for me in my cabin.
You know you're an asset to the crew. You know that you are kept here for what you do. But with the amount of times, can you imagine how many burns are now on our cook because of you? He's now just scared to go into the kitchen because he just does not know when you will be right there doing your experimentation of sorts. He fears for his life. I need to make sure everyone feels safe amongst my board.
Oh, yes. And, the cook wouldn't have to fear for his life if the food was always edible. If we would spend a little bit more on provisions, the cook would live in relative safety. I can't be held responsible for the fact that the man can't cook a decent meal. That's all I ask for. If he would be able to cook a decent meal, I would eat in my room and leave everyone well enough alone, at least until I needed a subject for my experiment. Now, is it possible that we're wrapping this up? I grow quite weary of lectures, at least when I'm listening to them. When I'm giving the lectures, it's really quite something. But I
Yes.
do need...
Yes, you are. And may I remind you who is in charge here, as he actually is a little taller than you and towers over you, and he is your captain.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware of the position you hold over me.
And I can certainly see if I can find other arrangements for you rather than be on my ship, if it came down to it.
Oh, no, that's a hollow threat. I'm far too valuable to you.
It's not a threat, it's a promise. Make sure that you make yourself valuable for me, and right now, being valuable would mean staying on this ship and not causing any shit to happen. Okay?
Well, I can promise I'll behave myself as best as I can. And that's really the best I can do. Now, is there anything I can do for our dear cook to make up for it? I do feel so terribly bad. Perhaps I could give him a drink. I do have something quite special waiting in the wings, but it just needs the right subject, not subject. It's so hard when you can't find the word sometimes, isn't it?
Craith, go to your cabin and stay there until we come back. Unfortunately, the cook has already left 15 minutes ago because he knew that you would be doing this.
Well, if you do run into him, I'm sure please tell him to pick up something decent to eat. I would quite enjoy a good meal sometimes next morning.
We shall do our best. I mean, it is Pearl Port after all. There has to be something towards your liking, I would presume. But you understand.
As long as it's not a horse at this point, I'd be very happy.
All right. I must get going. I'm trusting you.
You're so trusting, Captain. I do love it. It's one of your redeeming qualities. Now, if you don't mind, I will sequester myself in my room. Would you like to lock the door behind me, or do you trust me to stay?
I will, with pride, lock the door behind you for extra safety measure.
By all means, Captain. And he'll turn on his heel and start walking away, his thin tail, just the tip of it twitching behind him as he walks.
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna have your captain roll something real quick. Yep, nope. He just he follows you as he takes you to your cabin, which I'm gonna say you go into you go through kind of inside into a little hallway, and then you go into your quarters. And that is where your dear captain then takes out a lock, shuts the door, locks it, and then tucks the key away in his personal, and it says, "We'll be back in a few hours. Don't blow the ship up, otherwise it's coming out of your loot."
Oh, no worries, Captain. Nothing I have is too terribly volatile in here, and if something does go awry, I'll just toss it out the window. I'm sure no one on shore will mind a minor explosion.
To be determined. And then he just starts, you hear the as he starts walking away from your cabin doors. But yes, you are allowed locked in your cabin. Do you mind describing a little bit what your cabin looks like?
It's very sparse. There's a much nicer than any of the other sailors have, pressed against one wall. It's not very big because it is on a ship. On the opposite wall is a fairly shoddy workbench with glass vials and beakers and jars and pretty much anything that'll hold a liquid. A rack of assorted random components on the wall, most of them pretty empty. There's a faint smell of chlorine in the air. Probably the remnants of an experiment gone awry. Off in the corner next to the beds here, the workbenches here, off in this corner here, would be just a pile of stained clothes. What are they stained with? No telling. Someone could investigate that if they dared to come in the room. But
I'd say that's a good enough description. But yeah, you're now locked in your chambers. But you do have your window. Unfortunately, or fortunately for you, the porthole pointing out towards the docks. But you also see that town that your captain has told you specifically not to go to. What do you do?
he's gonna sit back on the bed, put his feet up on the end of the bed so he can look out the porthole. Just an entire city full of potential research assistants. And here I am locked in this room. Whatever will I do? A few hours before Captain comes back and unlocks my door. It's just almost too much to bear. Whatever will I do? He's gonna, as he's musing to himself, he's gonna reach up and with one of his long nails start fishing around in the inside part of the lock and just absentmindedly trying to pick the lock with his nail.
You will make me a sleight of hand check and add your proficiency bonus with it.
That is going to be
A hot 18.
Ah,
I should
18.
say that out loud. It makes me sound good.
All right, so you got an 18. So you're kind of going around. You're trying to kind of pick the lock. You're almost there. There's just one little thing you can't undo. He's locked it pretty good, but you do remember you have some hollow wooden boards beneath your feet.
It's never the easy way, is it? It's always got to be something. Anyway, he'll get up and start prying up the boards.
Make me an investigation check, and I say make it with advantage because you know this room.
Dirty 20.
Yeah. All right. So you're kind of you're feeling around. You're gonna start prying up the floorboards, but then you hear the hollowness, and you kind of brush the dust back, all the clutter in your room, and you see the trap door that you secretly have made for instances like this.
Foresight is such a wonderful thing. It's so much harder being smarter than everyone on board this crate. Someday I'm going to get off of it. Well, someday when people stop hunting me. For now, useful idiots, I suppose. Well, away we go. And he'll open the trap door and crawl through and make his way off the ship.
Yeah. You open the door, you kind of manage your way. We'll say for time's sake, it's kind of like a little area to go through. And then there's like a little spot like where you can go to a porthole that's on the lower end. You open it up, you manage to peer and look out. You kind of slither on out. You kind of have to tread water a little bit, and you go and end up finding a way to find your way up towards the town, which we shall now head into as we change our scene to, instead of the port and the decks, this bustling town. Now that's a little later in the morning. Locals, tourists, shopkeep, innkeepers alike, they are just hustling, bustling, because now it's later in the morning, like probably more like 10:30, 11 a.m. in the morning. And this town is just the place to be. And if people don't know it's the place to be, it is the place to be. Because per its name, Pearlport, this town, for those that have never been before, is well known for making sea treasures its main form of exchange. It's where people come to sell their sea treasures, some to kind of trade off, and to kind of, make some money off of this. But secretly, this is also a place where certain transactions and jobs could be made, shall we say, or given. And it's a place that a lot of sailors, and particularly pirates, like to come by to, make a quick buck or two. And there's all these people that are going by. There's people chatting with shop innkeepers. There's others that are trying to chat with their friends. And there's one person that is just kind of standing and leaning on the side of the building, and kind of has his mask up, looking around. And from a far distance, just looks like a normal passerby. But get a closer look, and you see the blue coloration on his face. Sarah, do you want to introduce yourself?
I so do. So, leaning against the wall, as Chelsea said, with a mask covering, all you see is really just his eyes. That's pretty much all you see. But you can see blue skin, and appears to be a man, young, mid-20s probably. He does have a hood up with the mask, very mysterious, but you can see peeking out from the hood black hair, which is pretty shocking compared to the rest of his blue skin. He has deep, dark brown eyes, and you can almost tell, even through the mask, you can tell. He has sharp cheekbones and very chiseled. You can tell even with the mask. T. Oh my god.
There's this happening already, and I love it.
I love it. He's pretty tall, looks about maybe 6 foot, and pretty lean, little gangly looking, and yeah, he's just leaning, observing, watching everyone. He's wearing dark green and black robes. He's just observing everything around him.
Awesome. So yeah, you're observing around you. How long have you been at Proport, would you say? Like a few days?
Yeah, probably a few days, getting the lay of the land and keeping at a distance, but in and amongst the fray, but in the shadows. So
Cool.
unobserved.
Cool. Yeah. So you're kind of doing your business as you're people watching, and you're looking things happen. And you look to your right, and something kind of catches your eye. You see one particular... Actually, no. It's 2 particular kind of like brutes and thugs. They're approaching aggressively towards an innkeeper of a woman. She's kind of like backed up against the corner, and you just kind of can tell from their body language they're like leaning over, and they're kind of surrounding her, and you can see on her face she doesn't look that comfortable with what's happening.
How far away are they to me?
A good 25, 30 feet away. Like they're like on the other side. You see this like from the other side of where you're leaving.
Okay. I want to approach, but keep to where they can't see me, so I can kind of try to hear a little bit what's going on first.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, you do that. So are you trying to like stealth through the crowd and get into like the shadows or something?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna make
Sneak
you
a
do
peek?
I'm gonna make you do a stealth check for that then.
Okay. 24.
Oh, easily you do so. You manage to sneak through the crowds and kind of and then you kind of lean over to the side, and you're kind of like on the other side of the building, like it's perpendicular, like they're here,
Mhm.
you're here,
Yeah.
that. And you're listening as you just hear these two like, "Come on, how much longer until you let us take you out on an official date?" And she's like, "Guys, I can't. I have work. I've already told you. It's just not possible." You know, like the other one's like, "Sure, you can make it possible. We promise to make it worth your while." And you basically hear that they're trying to take this lass out, and she's clearly not interested.
I am still keeping in the shadows, and I'm going to snap my fingers, cast Minor Illusion, but as he does it, there's like a flourish. He goes kind of very flamboyant snap. All his rings seem to just like go, it's almost like a whoosh. Yeah, very flamboyant snap. And he's going to cast the sound of... Well, actually, first, do I recognize these guys at all? Like, would I have known their names or anything?
I wouldn't say you've known your names. I would say
Okay.
you might have seen them around, but you're not familiar with their names. They seem to be typical locals and passerbyers.
Would I have
that
seen them
are-
like at the taverns and stuff?
You would
like-
have seen them at the taverns. Yes, you would have.
Okay.
You would have seen them at the
So I'm gonna-
taverns.
Okay, well, I'm gonna flamboyantly snap my fingers, cast Minor Illusion, and because I've seen them at the tavern, and just based off of looking at them, they probably like the occasional ale, maybe too many ales, like myself.
and I'm going to snap my fingers and have a voice booming kind of around the other side, shouting, free cast of ale! Free cast of ale!
So, you know what?
Take the bait.
Yes, let me see if I can, all right, so let's see, which one of these ones are they? Okay, they're these ones, so let's see. Nope. Yeah, Nope, they both fail. They just kind of turn their gaze and they just hear the voice, because, well, I haven't described them yet. You have been able to somehow recreate the voice of the main innkeeper of the well-known tavern around here. And because you've been around for a while, so you recognize, so you remember that voice. So you're able to recreate that voice, and they just immediately perk their heads and look around, and they look towards the specific tavern, which, as you can clearly see, says Bell's Tavern on top of it. And even in your few days, you know that this is a popular spot. You know that this is a particular spot that a lot of people go to, and you've seen these two frequently go over there. So they then turn back and just like, oh, not want to pass off a free drink? We'll try again next time, dear. And then they just kind of, like softly top the bump above the head. You know how they do when they leave. And then they turn and they kind of clap each other on the back, and they start heading towards Bell's Tavern to grab a free drink. Or so they think.
Okay. What does the lady do?
The lady is just like, gosh, thank goodness. So that's weird that Bell's offering free drinks. It's not even Thursday yet. I guess nothing changed from mine. Actually, hold on. Let me see if Yep, nope. She can't discern the voice either. It sounds a lot like the innkeeper.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, and then you know what? She's actually gonna, because you're sticking your head out as you're watching this, right?
Yeah, I imagine my head is kind of like peeking out from around the corner after they leave, especially watching to see if she's okay.
I think for a moment she like turns and she is it like out in the sunlight, or are you still in the shadows?
I'm still in the shadows.
Okay, then I would say, yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna step out. I'm just gonna step out.
Okay, so she turns and then she sees you. It's like, oh, you're not trying your luck like they were, are you?
Oh, darling, do I look like the type that would do something like that? Are you all right, dear?
And
he takes the mask down, puts the hood back, and you see the black hairs falling down to his shoulders. He's got a half man bun up. Gee.
So much thirsting.
Yeah, and he just kind of keeps it safe distance, doesn't want to spook a fine lady, and just goes, are you sure you're all right? Those guys were assholes. And his hand is like this.
Yeah. No, they are. Luke and Tom, they don't know that no means no. And, wait.
Men, am I right?
Yes, men indeed. They will go for a good ale. But I thank you for checking in.
Of course.
That means a lot.
I've seen you before. At the tavern a couple times, I think.
Yeah, just one of the workers, going behind bars and serving drinks. It's my day off today, luckily, so I could run a few errands.
You poor thing on your day off to deal with those assholes. I'm sorry.
She starts getting a little flustered as consent is hot, basically. That's what's going on here. So she's like, yes, that means a lot. I'm sorry. I hope you don't mind me asking your name?
Of course, darling. My name is Dagon. And what's your name?
Caroline.
Caroline. That's a lovely name.
Thank you.
Well, pleasure meeting you, although it was not great circumstances. Keep your wits about you.
You as well. Next time you come in and I'm on shift, a free drink on me.
Well, that's kind of you. I appreciate the offer.
Of course. Good day. And she curtsies and starts walking her way out to do her
I let her
errands.
go first.
Yes, you do. We
Like
love
a
a guy.
gentleman does.
Yes, consent is hot. Consent is hot. Love it. Okay, and then are you gonna, what are you gonna do afterwards? Are you gonna go walk about town? Or are you gonna head into the tavern? What are you thinking about doing?
Well, all this talk of ale, I'm fancying an ale. So I'm going
Alright.
to go have a bloody ale.
All right, you go and you head up towards Bell's Tavern to get yourself a nice ale, for sure. It's not gonna be free because Caroline's not on duty, but that's
Oh,
okay.
that's fine.
That's fine. So you go in and you are heading into the tavern, and you're kind of like, oh, I'm happy to get this ale. This should be nice refresher. When you don't notice that by you that there's a couple of people they're not like in an alleyway nearby. They're kind of just next to the tavern, just casually talking and chatting, but maybe more of like a business front. As another sailor boy thug, we'll go with, is chatting up with a particularly unusual creature of sorts that just the gills speak for itself. TJ, do you want to introduce yourself?
Well, I would right love to. So what you're looking at here is you're seeing a Triton, a male Triton. He's not quite in his youth, nor is he quite out of it. You'd say mid-30s or 40s if you could venture a guess, but it's hard to tell with these aquatic folk. I told you it'd be worse. I told you whatever you do, I'd do it worse. But he's got this like nice, like light blue to turquoise skin. But yeah, so he's got this light skin, just a loose linen shirt, it's a nice wrap around his pants. He's got it's interesting, he's got two holsters on either side of his waist that appear to have like coral growing out of it themselves. And he's like leaning on this staff that's got a big old blade on the end that is also made out of like this aquatic stone, essentially. It's a harpoon looking thing, essentially. Yeah, and so he's looking and he's talking to this one and he goes, "Listen, my friend, we've been out on the sea for such a long time. All I'm trying to do is catch up with the how today of Pearl Port. It's been such a long time. Actually, I forgot my manners. How have you been? How's that one lady down the street that you've been seeing too frequently, eh?"
Doing all right. She's doing okay. Look, sorry. Remind me your name one more time.
Oh, my apologies, my friend. My name is Doros. Doros Adreden, at your service.
Doris. Yeah, okay. Look, sorry. I
It's Doros.
apologize for Doros. Okay, and it
It's
just
thick language
Yes.
as it is.
just extends the hand, just takes it. Look, I'm sorry, I do not mean to be rude, but I have to meet up with my boys, and I don't have a lot of time. Do you have what I was looking for?
Of course I do. Do you have something that'll make it worth my while?
So I need you to roll me a D100, TJ.
Oh my god, okay. 77.
77. Hold on. Da.
Kodak! Okay, I'm snipping.
Yep. All right. So you're carrying like a big bag on you, right? Like a bag, or what are you carrying on you that's like storage worthy?
So storage worthy, he's kind of more of a I don't want people to know I'm carrying things kind of guy.
Okay.
So like he's got like necklaces on that like look like necklaces that fall under his shirt, but they're actually like little pouches. You know, he's got a sash around his waist that have little pockets hidden in between it. He's got a lot of crap on him, but very much in a way where it looks like, oh, I've got nothing on me. Like, why would I be carrying anything? Smuggle in, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yep.
Kind of vibes.
And so, you reach into your personals and you take out the very thing that this person has been asking for you to find. It was one of your little jobs that you got to do. And you pull out this beautiful masquerade mask crafted in leather and strangely peacock feathers. So you don't know why he would be asking for that. And you never said why, but you can look at it and maybe put 2 and 2 together that maybe it's not for him, but it's for somebody else.
Is this a lady favor?
Yeah, just can I look at it and just ask to see it?
I mean, he's gonna hold it up and he's gonna like throw it over his face so it like looks like he's wearing it. He goes, "You're looking at it right now. If you'd like to hold it, I'd like to hold my payment."
Grabs the mask and reaches in and is gonna take out. We're gonna say that you had named the price for it to be 20 gold.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the 20 gold and he hands it to you.
Oh, where's my tip?
Maybe a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm not asking for gold, laddie. The 20 gold is just fine, but as far as, talk about town, you got to give the man a couple of tips, especially when he's fresh back from such a long journey.
Okay, so just DM talk, you're asking for where did you get the next job, yeah?
No, I want to see anything this guy will give me. He basically, he's an information broker. He likes knowing shit. And so he's just kind of like, if I throw it out there, he's more often than not, he's going to tell me something interesting. So we'll see what it is.
Cool. Yeah, so still I want you to make me a persuasion check to see if he will give you this information.
I am devastated. This current character has a +3 to persuasion. My regular home game character has a plus 15. I'm really feeling it now. Sorry, that is a 19.
19. Okay, cool. You hear him as he hands the gold, and it's just like, are you still holding the mask over his face?
Oh, I'm holding it over my face. So he's like looking at.
You're holding it over your face. Okay, I would say because you're still holding it onto him and you're not letting it go. You're just like, I heard about a job. Well, I have 2. Which one do you want? Evens or odds?
Evens or odds? What a fun little game. Tell you what, what's the job that the less amount of people give a shit about?
It seems to be that possibly in this town of sorts, we have a case of a runaway, and their particular family would like them back. There's no idea whether they're going to be here now, but flyers have been going everywhere, and they're putting up lots of money for this. I would do it myself, but I have previous engagements.
Yes, the owner of this here mask, I see. You happen to have one of these flyers on you?
First, take the gold off my hand, and then I'll give it to you, as he's still holding the gold.
Of course. Takes the fully just one hand on each, does the swap.
Yeah, does the swap.
And as he's looking at him, he doesn't break eye contact, but the coins start like flipping over his fingers as he like pulling them out, and it looks like he's just very aesthetically disseminating them into different pockets and different pouches, but he's actually counting it as well. Just to make sure that, but totally not breaking eye contact at all. So he's just holding the eye contact and just like flipping it over his fingers.
You know what? I'm gonna say, just because it's fancy, I'm gonna say that's a sleight of hand, but I'll give you advantage with it because it's something that you can like easily do.
Yeah. Something that he does a lot. It's
something that he does a lot. Again, why I'm giving you advantage.
Severely extra hoe. 14.
Oh, no, it's easy. Yeah, just easy kind of edit. And you count it. It tracks up to what it is. It is 20 gold. He kind of searches and it's just like, it was here. Where did it go? And then he pulls out a piece of paper and then he opens it up. He starts reading it, and he's just like, shite again. And it's just, I swear it had it on me, but someone must be playing tricks because now that I have this. And he holds the piece of paper out to you if you would like to take it.
Of course.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You take it, and you open it up.
Don't make me roll.
And
don't do it.
It has the same sentence that Kodak was reading earlier.
Would you mind saying it for me one more time?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm sure you've heard the tales of the brutal pirate king, of the things he stole, of the people he hurt, of the lives he ruined. How would you like to feel if I told you those tales were all a lie? But as you're reading it and you see that it's not the thing that it is, you realize that it's just a flyer. It's up to you whether you want to keep reading it or not, but it's not what you were looking for. And he's like, and then Sam kind of looks over towards the front of the tavern, sees who he sees enter, and he's like, right, well, I must be off.
You've got a couple more seconds just to make sure I'm finished with my piece, don't you?
EJ. Right. What else? What else do you want? I have places to be.
And I'm gonna look down and I'm gonna continue reading.
Okay. You continue reading. Make me an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah! Crap! I'm not smart. Look, we got a little bit of a himbo situation going on here. I didn't want that to get revealed so quickly. That's a solid 3.
That's a solid 3. You start reading it, but because it's been crumpled up and it looks like it got some bird poo on it at some point. I don't know how, but it did. It's kind of smudged and you can't read the rest of what it is. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Oi, okay. First of all, Sam, this is bloody useless. But I'll tell you what. I'll let you walk away if you tell me the name of who you're giving that mask to.
Sherry. You happy?
Sherry.
And then he just runs and goes to the tavern.
He's gonna look at him, kind of go into the watching the tavern, bite his lip, and he's gonna kind of like grab it, like move his shawl down and grab his shirt and pull it up. And there's just like a series of like what to anyone else would look like symbols in tattoos that are like going up his chest, you know? And he pulls like sticks his hand in another pocket. It comes out like this like deep navy blue color, kind of. And he draws like 2 or 3 symbols like on the edge of the tattoo in the corner. And you can see they're like growing across his chest. He just draws that. Sucks the rest off on his finger. Cracks his knuckles and goes, you know what? The man's got a good idea. I've not seen Belle for nearly 3 weeks. What a shame. So brushes off his hands and he's gonna enter Belle's tavern.
All right, you enter Belle's tavern. Make me a perception check, if you will.
Oh, I'd love to. I don't know who I'm waving to. I'm assuming that's Travis's wife.
Everyone's waving at each other. I love it.
I'm assuming it's Travis's wife that started it all. That to be a solid 15.
A solid 15. All right, so you were walking kind of past the side, and you look back towards where you were, and you see this little, like, thing in the shadows. It's kind of small, standing on, like, top of, like, one of, like, the little bars, and looks rather fluffy. It's like high up, so you have to look up to crane your neck to see it. But you swear it might be looking at you.
Am I
bit.
still kind of tucked in a corner? A little
You're
bit?
still kind of, you're just about to walk out of the corner and you turn and you look and see what this is.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a knife at it.
Throw a knife at it.
Yep.
Okay.
I've got my coral daggers right next to me, and I'm gonna.
All right. Make me an attack roll.
None of you were expecting me to bring a murderer, were you? Murder himbo. We're inventing a new. That's not very good. That's gonna be a 15.
Yeah, you throw your dagger at it and it just passes right by as the creature flaps up and then just flies away because of your dagger.
Do I get a better look at it due to the fact that it got out of the shadows and flew right away?
It starts flying up and like around the corner, so you don't see much of it, but you do see like brownish kind of feathers and a roundish face of what it is.
And how big is it?
It's small. It's like maybe maybe 3 inches. You can't really tell.
Interesting.
But it's gone from sight. You can't see it anymore.
Huh. He's gonna go retrieve his dagger and then
Okay.
kind of like keep a solid eye out to see if it comes back or if there's any other of them. Gonna be on high alert for probably the rest of the week.
Sure.
But
so
yeah, he'll go inside
go
the tavern then.
Okay, so I'm gonna say you are grabbing your dagger as we cut away from that scene. As you're looking at your dagger, and you're kind of looking up, and this creature that you had just tried to attack, up above, you see in the sunlight is a sparrow that's just flapping above the breeze and everything. And after a bit, it kind of circles around back towards the top of a tavern, and then it sits on the shoulder of a humanoid that is writing up another paper that seemed to be echoing the same words that Dorius and Kodak have read from before. Ota, do you want to describe your character?
Oh my god, Ota, I almost murdered your familiar. I'm so sorry.
Before we actually get to this current scene, if we cut back a few hours, the sun has not yet risen, but like there's a glow on the horizon. The town is quiet. It's still kind of blanketed by very early dawn. You see like the side of this tavern, and the camera almost focuses up on one of the windows where like it is cracked just very slightly. And we see this little shape, this little feathered shape, a sparrow, flit up and land on the eaves, kind of preens its wing for a moment, looks around, and then lets out a little chirp. And the window swings open further, and a figure kind of cloaked by shadows will step out onto the windowsill and then silently clamber up onto the roof, keeping low against the tiles as they go. And as they do, they sort of glance up, eventually making sure there's no one around to see. They eventually kind of come up onto their knees and look around, sort of nod depending on where, seeing how, like, where the altitude of this certain building is. And they, as they reach into their bag with one hand, they sort of like pop a finger into their mouth for a second, then hold it up to test the wind direction, kind of feel a strong breeze go by and nod. And then, with a flourish of movement, they're going to throw this whole sheaf of papers into the wind. And they scatter off in every direction across town. And this figure sort of grins silently in the dark. All you can kind of see of them is just their eyes and their smile. They kind of lean back on their hands as these papers scatter across town. Yeah, I think that'll do it. That should spread them pretty far. And as the bird flutters up onto their shoulder, and they kind of scratch under the chin, and then they give a deep yawn. Oh god, I hate being awake this early, but you know, gotta do what we gotta do, huh, June? Okay. Let's see. I wonder if the kitchen's open already. Let's go find out. And they will clamber down off of the roof, this sparrow perched firmly on their shoulder, and they will grab the edge of the roof and swing back into their room, kind of snatching the window to close it on the way out. We cut to early morning, as the town is now, people are bustling around, stuff is going on. And we once again see this figure not sitting on the roof quite, but actually sitting up in their legs sort of dangling over the windowsill of their room at the inn. There is a plate of food sitting on the end table just inside. Next to them on the eaves, there is basically in a horn mug is more or less like a frappuccino that they have probably gotten 3 of at this point, trying to wake themselves up from being awake at 3 a.m. For 4 a.m. whenever the sun rose. And they'll give another yawn and then continue with their scribing. Okay, so there's another one.
Ota, I love it so much.
They'll take this one specific piece of paper that they've finished now and set it with the rest of the pile that they're forming inside. Okay, that's how many? 50? Something like that? I don't know. June, are you keeping count? And the sparrow that's perched now on the windowsill next to them kind of just stares at them. Oh, right, you can't count, I forgot.
But yeah, Chun is sitting up on you, and you notice that Chun is very wide-eyed, more than they normally would be on a day. So
I'll glance down at her, and then I'm like, hun, you get it? And I'm gonna pick her up and kind of examine her, and I see where, like, the end of, like there's suddenly on, like, the smooth curve of the wing, there is suddenly, like, right at the edge of it, some feathers that have gotten, like, sheared off at a weird angle, and she's like, what the hell happened? You went to find, like, bird seed. What happened?
It's just chirping at you until you do
I'm gonna cast. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, the caffeine is not helping this morning, hun. And she is going to go ahead and, like, tap, like, 2 fingers to her temple, and she'll cast Speak with Animals.
So then, speak with animals. You then hear this voice. Why are we here in this town? You didn't tell me there'd be people that would be dangerous. And it's just squeaking.
I mean, it's pirates, but, like. Did someone attack
to get my wings! Someone tried to attack me for no reason!
I, like, hold her up close to my face. Who was it? Point me in their direction! I will end them!
I can't... It just starts, like, crying, like, I'm so sorry!
It's okay. It's okay, honey. It's okay. And she just starts, like, petting her, and she's gonna take, like, a piece of sausage, like, off of her plate, and she's just gonna, like, have it on the fork for her to, like, eat.
And just starts, like, nibbling at it, and then as soon as that happens, the tears start going away. It's just like, a real quick question. Does Chun consider you her mother?
Oh god, that's a good question. Probably. I'd say yes.
Okay, so just making sure, because...
Or at least, like, big sister.
Big sister. Okay. Because I was gonna say, she's probably... I was gonna be like, thank you, Mom! And just calls you Mom. That's her nickname for you.
Okay, yes, I agree to this. This is very cute.
Thank you, Mom. I mean, it looked like not human. It's weird. They were, like, seafoam green. I don't know why it came up. Wow, how do I know seafoam green? That's big for my vocabulary. Like, look like.
Damn, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I know, right? It just, I don't know. It was kind of in the shadows, hard to see, but not human. But I don't know why. I don't think it was. Maybe it could have been on purpose. I don't know. I don't know all those things, but it feels like that it was just not. Didn't mean to, but at the same time meant to. I have no idea. Can I just stay with you for the rest of the day, please? Like, don't make me go out.
Of course.
Okay, thank you. And just
if you see him, let me know, and just stay away from him, okay?
Just nod, just like, all right, Mom.
I'll kind of nuzzle her back.
Yeah, nuzzle. TJ. We are living up to Chronicles of Chaos already. Love. All right, cool.
Yeah,
Hey, do
You see, you're like, oh, I'm gonna
remember
throw a
when-
dagger at the bird. I was just like, this better not be Chun. No.
And do y'all remember when you said I was gonna be the mature and responsible one?
Yep. Yeah. All right. Cool. So you nestle with June. So then, are you gonna stay up and finish with your writing, or are you gonna start heading down towards the tavern? Because the tavern is both an inn itself, but it's not normally an inn a lot of the time. Just it's mainly known for the tavern thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably finish up like 2 or 3 more sheets, and then I'll like quickly wave for them dry the ink, and then I'll shove them in my bag and head downstairs to return the plate.
Yes, for sure.
The cup is mine, but the plate's theirs.
You start heading down towards the stairs, and you see that it is just bustling with people. So many people. Like, even this early, which is like probably like 11:30 at this point, but it's just a lot of just sailors and pirates are like already somewhat inebriated this early, just kind of, have a jolly yo-ho, and are just kind of like downing the drinks here left and right and all that fun stuff. And you go to return your plate over towards the front.
Yeah, she's kind of like ducking and weaving through the crowd, and as she like eventually comes into the room, she's just like, oh good lord, and she kind of pushes Chun kind of like closer to her neck on her shoulder a little bit, and she's actually gonna reach down with one hand once that's done, and she's gonna tug her sash tighter, and this sort of ornate short sword that she has on her kind of hooked into her sash will kind of tighten further against her waist, and she'll kind of wrap the end of it around the handle so like people can't pull it out easily.
Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of weaving and bobbing through, and then you go up to kind of the bar situation. There's a lot of people already there, like finishing up their food and drink. And so you kind of go up and put your plate down, and there's a bell to call when there's dirty dishes. So you can like tap the bell if you want it to be taken.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give it a jingle.
Get a ding! So you do that, and then
Sitting
you
there
just
drinking
hear,
my frappuccino.
Yeah, you're good. And then you're just like, as you see kind of peering from the back of the bar, this huge figure ducks and stands up. And then you see like this 10-foot tall orc that is just donned in a chef's apron. That is just kind of like, who rang the bell? And it's just looking around, and the voice is booming as everyone is just like, just quietly, some people look up and it's just like, not me, because there's some intimidation from this creature as he just stands up looking at everybody.
Lane's like eyes widen, like she's maybe like 5'9", but she's not like tall. And she just like will silently hold up the plate with one hand so he doesn't have to like bend down to get it.
So that he turns and sees you, and it's just like boom, 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 and obviously the food and platter like shakes as some of the drinks start to spill as he's like walking towards to where you are, Lain, and then just like looks at. Oh wait, yeah, never mind. It looks down at you, and then looks at the plate, looks at you, and grabs it, and then says, "Any more dirty dishes?"
Nope. Not for me. Food was great, by the way. Thank you. She nervous smiles at him.
And it's just like, it gives you a big toothy wide grin as you obviously made him feel good. And then stands up and is like, I like you.
Well, you seem great as well.
And then nods says, we'll tell Belle you get a free drink, and then turns and goes back, and then heads back to tuck towards the cavern. Not the cavern, the kitchen in the back.
Well, damn, and she'll look at you, and this is why we're polite.
Yep. Very, very polite. Lots of stimuli around here, Mom. Lots.
Oh, do you want to go in my hair? You can go in my hair if you want.
Okay. And then she burrs herself in your hair, like towards like the back, so that way it's like.
Lain has just this bush of like red, like long red brown hair, like 2 braids in the front, long like knee length braid in the back,
Mm-hmm.
and she just disappears into it.
disappears. Yep, cool. And so that happens. And you stick around the tavern for food? Are you gonna go out and try to do some stuff? What you plan on doing?
I think she's gonna go out.
Okay. You start going out, and you're
See what
walking
there is
out.
to see.
Mm-hmm. You start working out to kind of see what you can find. And no, we'll save it for later. And so you start walking out, and you're kind of heading out of the situation, and you exit the tavern, kind of looking out to see, what are we going to do next? And then we cut to our dear little Teacup, who has now ended up at the local pawn shop called the Surfside Swap. And you are there, and you are talking with this shopkeeper who's kind of like a older gentleman, but still has like a gleam in his eye, and it's just like, so I hear you brought some treasures for exchange, I hear?
Yes, if I can reach here into my bag.
Yeah, so you reach into your bag. Okay.
And she mumbles something about, like, I have no idea what I grabbed while I left.
All right, so I want you to roll me a d20 4 times, and you tell me how many evens, how many odds.
Okay. 3 odds, 1 even.
3 odds, 1 even. Okay. So we will start with the odds first. Roll me a d100 3 times.
Okay. Let's see. A 94.
Okay.
A 54. And a 99.
Okay, cool. 94, 54, 99, right?
Yep.
So,
94, 54, 99.
Okay, so you reach into your bag, which is pretty kind of smallish, medium sizes, but it's unfortunately the shopkeeper can see this as you kind of like stick your hand down further in, giving away that it's a bag of holding. And you're reaching in and you're grabbing the things that you're looking like, well, where is it? Okay. So then you pull out a 6-foot cubed block of black granite suitable for sculpting.
Okay.
You pull out a finely crafted figurine of a blue dragon done in wood and painted. And then let's see what 54
That was my
is.
brother's.
And and then you do I want to give you this one? Maybe I need to give you something else. Hold on.
No, do it.
Okay. And then the last one you pull out is a leather ball stuffed with chicken feathers and a plain electrum ring. But then you still have their final one, which is you hope is like, please let this be a little bit more as you reach in, and then roll that D100 one more time.
Okay. 44.
44. What is 44? Let's see. I'd love for you to create a backstory with this. A collection of 6 wigs in varying lengths and hues of wooden head-shaped molds. The third, a curly green hairpiece that falls well past the shoulders, as a silver and pearl hair clip.
Oh, grandmother and her weird collection. She ain't fooling anyone with that.
He's like, okay. And then just like takes everything, because it's not exactly the things that are normally traded around these parts, but we'll say you worked your charm on him, and, you know, he wants to help a lady out. So,
Oh, forgive me, it was dark. It was hard to see. I just grabbed what I could.
No, I understand. I can tell that you're not around from these parts. I dare not ask why, because, you know, many here, their secrets and what they go after. Maybe not so much with that whole treasure that's been going about that people seem to want so much, but who am I to judge? Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to write down what all these are. Let's see. Okay. So then... Okay. For the whole lot, I can give you 64 gold and 44 silver pieces. Fine. Okay. He takes your items, and you can put, how much did I say? 64 gold and 44 silver pieces in your bag now, in your inventory.
Leo.
Cool. He's like, well, pleasure doing business with your mom. If you find any other treasures of sorts, though I would say recommend keeping with the theme, because not everybody will be down to take any old treasure. I mean, myself, obviously, will happy to take off anything that you have on your hands, but best to keep in blending with said town. And he's like looking at your lace parasol and kind of looking up at you and looking like...
She's gonna roll her eyes and just shove it in her bag and just look it right back at him.
Understood, ma'am. Well, have a pleasant day. I recommend, if you're going to stay anywhere... Actually, wait, maybe not be suited for you for a lady of your stature. It's the only one I could think of. Try going towards...
Oh, you said I
Bell's...
needed to blend in. Didn't you say that?
That I did. Bell's Tavern. Normally, they are a place of just food and drink, but they do offer aid and shelter for those in need at times. And pardon me, ma'am, but you seem to be one that needs that.
Indeed, I do.
All right, then. Well, and he points in the direction where it is and says, have a blessed day.
Pleasure doing business.
You as well, ma'am. And yeah, he then goes back to take the items that you sold him and throw them in.
And then she's gonna walk to the tavern.
All right, you start heading your way towards the tavern. We then cut to Kodak. You are wandering around the streets. You've been wandering for quite a while because this is your captain he just basically stranded you on this place. He didn't give you a map. He didn't give you anything. And I also would say because of what he kind of threatened you with, you're kind of seething in like your anger a little bit. And you've just been wandering around aimlessly.
I've just been pacing the beach. I'm just creating a divot in the
Yes,
beach.
you are. You are. You are creating a divot. Which, yeah, you then are just creating a divot back and forth. You start going around. And as you are going back, actually make me a dexterity save.
Okay. Here. Love. Come on, D&D Beyond. You know. Bad on the dice. Maybe it will be a dex save, you say?
Yeah.
Total of an 8. I got a 6.
So you're turning, as you're starting to head towards, you start to turn, and it's in that moment that you kind of bump into this figure, as this figure has started walking and had, actually, let's see, Travis, can you make me a dexterity saving throw?
Oh, that's great. Let's see. It's gonna be 11.
Yeah, okay. I would say that because you were you trip on this divot and you start falling forward, and then all of a sudden you feel this figure start to run into you, and you are then squished on top of this big crocodile. And you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta do this. Hold on. Where are my damage dice?
Oh
Hold on. It may not be bad. Hold on.
Pine tree falling on you. Just
You take 4 bludgeoning damage as this crocodile just squishes you to the ground.
I'm sorry.
I'm terribly sorry. Would you mind so terribly to get off of me?
Kodak just does the most awkward, like, push up and stand up.
Kodak is a Wattpad boyfriend.
This large crocodile person will just reach a hand down to you to help you up. I apologize.
Craith is going to... Craith isn't going to look any further past the hand itself, and he's just going to look at it. And he's just... You can see that the wheels inside his head are turning. And then his gaze will continue up. Well, I must say this is not how I wanted to start my day, but could end up being quite fortunate. And he'll reach up and take Kodak's hand and allow himself to be helped up. Dust himself off. Well, aside from, I'm sure there'll be a bruise or two, but there's no real harm done.
Again, I'm sorry my divot made such a problem.
You know, I've got to say, I've had plenty of worse. I must say... Shit. Hang on, I lost the page. I must say, as far as... And you can tell he's kind of not flustered, but getting run over kind of knocked him off his game, so he's got to recompose himself a bit. Sorry. Since this whole unfortunate ordeal, could I trouble you for, just the world's smallest favor before we part ways?
I don't tend to do a lot of people favors.
This is such a small thing. I really don't think it's not that big a problem, really. But and he's going to start fishing around in pockets and in his boot and just desperately looking for something. There's all kinds of clanks and clangs as he's fumbling around. I really mean it. I would lose my complete mind if it wasn't trapped inside this brilliant skull. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Would you mind? And he'll pull out a flask. Would you mind so terribly to just drink this for me?
Hey Webby, what's Kodak's wisdom score?
It's better than his intelligence.
Where are you?
There we go.
So, while he's kind of giving you this, I will allow, let's see, hold on. Let's see, how do I want to do this? So Craith, are you trying to be, you're trying to be persuasive, or are you trying to be deceiving with what you're trying to do?
It's pretty deceptive.
Okay, then I want you to make me a deception check.
Alrighty. I'm typing and doing this.
It's okay. focus on one first and then go with the other.
14. I said deception, right?
Yeah, deception.
So that with the +5, that's a 19.
Okay, Kodak.
14 on the die.
Kodak, you roll insight, but you get advantage on this because you naturally have an advantage on insight. So.
Ew. That is going to insight. I can't read.
It should be a +3.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your sheet right now.
21.
21. Okay. So, Craith, what does a 21 give Kodak?
Okay, make sure I send that to the right one. 21.
You don't have to be straight up forward, but you can't necessarily lie.
Yeah, you see in Craith's eyes that he's genuinely curious about what's going to happen next. You probably can tell that the guy's a few bats short of a belfry, if you will, but and he genuinely doesn't know what's going to happen and probably doesn't fully know what he's asking you to do, what he's offering you.
And it's just a vial of clear liquid.
It's a flask.
Okay.
Could be wine, could be bourbon, could be poison. Nobody knows. He doesn't know what he pulled out. He was just reaching around, fumbling around, and grabbed the first one he found.
Yeah. No label.
Do what?
You know what? Fuck it. And he downs it.
I love it. Okay.
Joy. Fuck it is
Okay.
actually my favorite phrase, actually. It's so rare to find a willing participant for these.
Okay. All right. We're gonna Travis, for safety's sake, based on our conversation, we're gonna go with the simple one first. We'll go with the simple one.
Great.
Kodak, I need you to roll me a d6 for me.
A D6.
A d6, yes.
4.
4? Okay. So, essentially, you drink and down this, and you are just kind of embodied with this. You can't really describe it. You were really brought down with your captain, with what happened and what was going on, but you just then feel this kind of confidence and this confidence and this belief in yourself rise up within you that you're like, you know what? I can get shit done. I can do this. And so as for the next minute, you can roll a d4, and the number that is rolled to every attack roll and saving throw that they make is added to it. And that's what happens throughout the next minute.
The next minute. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you need me to do something with this, or did you just tell me to drink it?
Oh, I just wanted to see if you do it. Like I said, it's quite hard to find people that will just willingly drink something a stranger hands them. Just for my knowledge, how are you feeling? Any queasiness? You want to vomit? Do you feel blood pooling behind your eyes? I'm really quite curious what's going to happen next.
Well, none of
If any teeth fall out, I certainly would like to take possession of them.
Conan just starts checking teeth. Nope. I have all my teeth.
Fortunately.
I feel pretty good.
Really?
About you, but I feel fine.
Yeah. Well, seems you're one of the lucky ones then. Anyway, I do.
To delve into that statement any further.
This conversation is all interrupted when you start hearing some yelling happening kind of from inside the tavern, as then you see Kodak and Craith, you see kind of turning towards you, you see a figure kind of be pushed out from outside of the tavern and is kind of like so thrown off they kind of are somewhat tumbling down the stairs, but they end up like catching their feet. And so you turn and you see Dagon. You have been pushed out of the tavern because the two thugs that you had stopped earlier, they are now pushing you out and are approaching you just like, it was you, wasn't it?
And I just go, me.
Yeah, you. Bell only gives free drinks on Thursdays around here.
He doesn't? I didn't know that.
It's a she that proves that you're a liar. And TJ, I saw your hand is up.
Would I have seen him get pushed out?
Yes, actually at the same time, because not a few moments later, you get pushed out as well by your fellow that you made your exchange with the mask. And you're being pushed and being shoved back as well. Actually, make me a dexterity saving throw.
Am I seeing this happen?
No! Crap! Damn it!
It's from inside.
Yeah, you do see this happen, Lain, as this is happening right now.
Yeah, dexterity, save it. Well, check or saving throw is the same thing. Never mind.
Yeah, saving throw.
11?
11. So you are pushed back by your bloke, Sam, we'll call him. Sam, as he pushes you, and you do kind of step back, but then you do trip, and then you hit on your bum. And I'm so sorry to do this to you, TJ. Actually, no, I'm not. You take 2 bludgeoning damage as you fall down on your butt. And your bloke, Sam, just stares daggers at you and has just said, that match should have only cost me 10 gold. You cheating liar!
I didn't lie nor cheat nothing. You agreed to a price. It's not my fault you agreed to a price that's utterly ridiculous. And I think out of the corner of my eye, I see it, I go, lovely. Looks like we're not the only people. It looks like this stoop is, taken. You know,
yeah, Kodak,
we don't do this business here. We can, take a nice walk, and leave these fellas. Quick, if you head down, I'll follow you. I promise we can have this conversation.
I'll get to you in a sec, Kodak, but then you see, you see, so Dagon, the 2 thugs are looking at you. They are now looking at the other person. They're like, Sam, you're having some trouble with one of these 2 either. And he's like, yes, I am. Thinking they can cheat a couple of scallywags like us. And you see the middle one just starts kind of putting his cracking his fingers.
Call themselves scallywags is my credit. Hold on. He kind of clocks. They go, do I know you?
Dagon kind of has just standing watching this, just completely like flabbergasted. You look kind of familiar. Have you been here the last few days?
Wonderful. So, listen, how about we get out to this deal, we get out to this together, and then we figure out how we know each other. Sounds all right?
That sounds like a marvelous plan, darling.
Wonderful.
And then Kodak, you had your hand up. What were you going to do?
Do we see them both get shot down?
Yes, you do. Both of you see this. And I will also say, Adeline, you are making your way towards there, and you're kind of like back away as you see this happen. You haven't approached the scene yet, but you see it happen.
I would love to use my observant feat to read their lips, because these 2 are back to me, and I can see the scallywag in the box.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, your observer feat. You basically, for sake of time here, you understand what they're saying. You see that they are basically very angry that these people seem to have cheated them out on something. And
I didn't cheat nobody.
Liar! And they are
I
just
have no idea what you're talking about, darling.
I didn't lie. I just said what I'd charge you. You asked how much it cost. I said that you'd have to pay me 20. That's, it's true. I never said a lie.
At that moment, then Kodak starts standing behind you guys and is staring down at these thugs, and the thugs are looking up. It's just like, you bring a scaly crocodile to a fight? And Lain, your hand was up.
I'm just confusing that since I don't have physical hand raising ability. I can see this happening, right?
Yes, everybody sees this happening.
Okay, this is possibly a stupid plan. Can I use 2 uses of the same cantrip, like one right after the other? It's for minor.
What was that you were gonna do?
Can I use like 2 uses of the same cantrip, like one right after the other? It's minor illusion.
I'm gonna say you can only use it once. You can't do it back after back. Yeah, in this particular situation.
I can make an image, but the image can't make a sound, or I can make a sound. So I was gonna make a sound, and then I was gonna make an image.
Okay. I guess maybe when you're figuring that out, Craith, what are you doing?
Seeing all this, Craith has jumped up on a nearby barrel and is just sitting cross-legged, kind of in a thinker pose, just... Well, I do hope that somebody dies.
And
It's never really any fun unless there's some kind of unfortunate mishap that, well, unfortunate for the person that dies, but very fortunate for me because I am running low on supplies.
You know what?
And as you're saying that,
the posh one's got an idea. And I'm gonna reach into my belt and I'm throwing a dagger straight at let's go with Luke's face.
At Luke. Okay.
Here we go.
All right.
This guy's got an idea.
Yeah.
Can I do my thing before that happens?
Yes, do that. Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that.
Okay, so
Lain.
it's just going to be an image.
Do
it's not going to be
too, but that's fine.
sound. That was more going to be for flavor than anything else. It's just going to be.
Let's
just going to
go,
be an
Lain.
image.
Yeah.
So she's going to cast minor illusion, and basically this illusion is going to appear in this coin bag that is going to like bounce off the door frame next to these guys' heads and like fall on the ground and just spill open with like a bunch of gold spilling out. It's illusionary, but that's what they see as an attempt to distract them.
Oh shoot, never mind.
She's just in the background, like drinking her frappuccino, just like hip leaned against the table, just watching this happen.
Truly, I would be Doros would be distracted by that. So he probably like whips his dagger half out, sees the coins, and goes, and like abandons the attack entirely.
So now it's just laying on the ground in between everybody.
Yeah. So then as that happens, you see one of them, we'll see that, hold on, where this? Yeah, we'll see that Luke kind of peers down, and is kind of like his eyes go wide as he starts to reach for it. But then Tom grabs his hand, and then Sam goes and stomps his foot. They realize it's minor illusion. And they kind of just then look behind at you, Lain, to see this happen. And then
do they realize I'm the one who did it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And then one more thing, and then I gotta say my thing. What is it, Dagon?
I was gonna say, who's the most hostile right now?
They're all hostile right now.
Who's closest to me?
They're both at evenly. Like there's like one. They're like standing next to each other right now.
Hold on, let me.
I thought you were gonna say who's the most hot.
Yes, which one of the men about the is the most physically attractive?
There you go. Well, go ahead. What were you gonna do? Because this might affect what I do next.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because they're kind of looking at each other and be like, if it's a fight you want, it's a fight you'll get. And that's where we're gonna cut in the middle of break.
Yes.
I had to.
Curse you again.
Hey.
No goodie.
Hello again, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the first part of our Session 0 for Secrets of Skyhorn Lighthouse, The Fiend. I know we all left you on a bit of a cliffhanger, but don't worry. Part 2 of Session 0 will be coming next week, same time as before. It will either be Friday, 2 p.m. PST, or Saturday, 2 p.m. PST, depending on when this particular one is posted. Gotta figure some things out schedule-wise. Now, if you enjoyed listening to our shenanigans and chaos that we cause, please, please, please go check out our platforms under the name Chroniclers of Chaos. Yes, we actually went ahead and did a thing, and we now have a D&D show name now. Yay! We've got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and so much more coming, including Twitch, all your podcasting platforms, as well as other ways to get some behind the scenes and extra content, if you will. Now, from our sexy seafarers to you all, thank you for listening, and look out beyond the horizon for the next chapter of the story. Till then, go cause chaos, my little gremlins. Bye for now.